Hey, what is up, my fellow anti-netters? Hope all is well. I just wanted to stop and just shoot this video and show you something. This is what I've been looking at all day, and this is kind of a behind the scenes of my desk. Look at that beautiful desk in all of its analog glory, not in some frickin' obsidian bubble graph boy style graph or some douche nozzle style, quote unquote second brain like Cortex. Cortex is the new Obsidian, which is the new Logseek, which is the new Notion, which is the new, like, fill in the blank, XYZ. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the deal. Nothing in the world beats the power of pen, frickin' paper, and your brain. Gasp. Guess what? Yes, your brain. Not farting around on ChatGPT and having ChatGPT, aka Crap GPT, write a book for you. This right here, just an actual analog system filled and packed with knowledge that you get to refresh on, beats any other quote-unquote PKM, even some blowhard crapshoot solo brolopreneur thing like Cortex, which is apparently, the new kid in town, which will soon be the old kid in town when we fast forward to next week. Anyway, before I move into showing you some of the behind the scenes, I just want to show you this. It was just crazy. I'm like looking at my stats of one of my payment processor accounts. What is that? It's like $24,000 today. This year so far almost have made $1 million, which is crazy. My, every monthly recurring revenue, just with writing one thing a month, $75,000 in monthly recurring revenue each month. And it all stems from, believe it or not being glued to some AI crappy PKM Cortex, thingamajig. No, it's literally just from sitting on my butt and having assiduity, which means to sit on your ass until you do it, and writing by hand. I started my day with about 3 hours of deep work on writing and creating a new textbook for a course that I will be launching this summer. And guess what? I'm going to be giving it away for free for all of my fellow anti-netters. So get ready and stay tuned for that. And then I've just lately shifted into something right here. And this is a preview. I don't want to spoil it because I'm going to be writing about this latest and greatest little, I guess, tweak or enhancement that I've made to the anti-net Zettelkasten and analog Zettelkasten system. Okay, and you can, I'm not going to really walk through this with you. Maybe I will after next month, because I'm going to be writing about this in issue number 29 of the Scott Shepard letter, which is my analog monthly newsletter that I deliver to people's doorsteps every month. Anyway, here's the big realization that I have had, and that is this. A Zettelkasten is really just one big system for organizing chaos. Okay? Organizing chaos. The reason why you want to organize chaos, each and every thought, by the way, is essentially a little instantiation. A thought is like chaos. And if you throw all of these thoughts in a box, it's just one chaotic pile of ideas and thoughts, right? Well, Luhmann's biggest invention and innovation was, hey, I want to work on a book and I need a way to find and develop each and every single one of my thoughts. So how do I organize chaos? Well, when you organize chaos, you essentially introduce complexity, right? Like, look at this card address, right? This is a book, this is a part in my book of my anti-net Zettelkasten book, right? A group of ducklings will follow their mother even into the face of oncoming traffic. This stands as an interesting phenomena, yet perhaps more, but look at the card address. Look at how long that is. That introduces complexity, right? So one of the things people, unfortunately, the mistakes I see a lot of people making is they think that any thought that they have needs to introduce this complexity, meaning they think that they need to have card addresses for every single thought in their Zettelkasten. Like, we see this now with like the communist Zettel communists out there who get hopped up on some crappy book about a system for writing, a Zettelkasten, and they use this Vogelseidel method and use a synthetic digital version of Vogelseidel, right? And they introduce complexity unnecessarily. Like the complexity they introduce into their Obsidian system, unfortunately, isn't going to save them from being just procrastination driven machines that actually don't publish anything. They just fart around and publish their, crying digital gardens in, Obsidian Publish and on their digital gardens, and share it in their, Zettelkasten Reddit forum, and then just cry on each other's shoulders in the comment sections. That's like modern day Zettelkasten. Well, guess what? You don't necessarily need to introduce complexity in card addresses with every single type of card. There is a card or set of cards that I've talked about it in a video before, called my Chaos Box, which these are cards that I have been keeping essentially since the year 2006, which is insane. That's almost like 20 years ago, which I just feel old right now saying that. Anyway, like this takes me back, and I can tell, like these green cards right here, I wrote this. I can tell. I didn't even need to pull it out, but I'm going to share with you. I wrote these cards, these lime green cards, when I was in college, my sophomore year, and majoring at a triple emphasis major in Bachelor of Science in business and strategy at the time, and I was learning all these strategy frameworks, and I wrote them down on these cards, right? And I kept them in a note box. Well, like here it is, right? Company analysis for the 5 C's, character, capacity, conditions, capital, competitive advantage. Like this is a framework, a thought framework for evaluating a company, essentially, right? And I knew, even before pulling this out, this took me back into a place in time. Now, as you can see, there's no card address in the top right corner. Do you see that? Okay. And that is why, this is basically pure chaos, and there's no real complexity because I haven't tried to organize these cards with card addresses. And so a lot of people, when they just get Zettelkasten pilled, the true Zettelkasten pilled, like anti-net pilled, they start creating card addresses and backdating all of their old cards, with card addresses. And the thing is, you don't need to do that, nor should you do that. One of the biggest benefits of not adding card addresses to these cards is it forces you to constantly review and reinstall all of these ideas in your working memory. So if you can see this, I'm just going to zoom down. Do you see how this is a longer, green card sticking out? It's because this is a placeholder. Every day I walk into my office, my library like crazy office, right? And before I even start sitting at my desk and writing, I pull out a chunk of these cards, right? I review them, okay? And then when I'm done reviewing them, I put them in the front, okay? So that I work through all of my cards and kind of install them always constantly in my working memory. I also do this for some of the more organized boxes, like this right here. You see that card right there sticking out? That stands for PH. It's PH. It stands for placeholder. So I do the same thing. I pull out a chunk, I review it, and then I, put it back. Now, the benefit of, the downside of this is that it introduces complexity, right? The positive of just, even if you are overwhelmed with the whole analog Zettelkasten approach and numbering approach, you will get ahead of 96% of the digital bubble graph boys and those that are literally farting around over some new PKM system that's going to give them a new second brain like Cortex, and just, having a circle jerk of solopreneur digital creator productivity jam sessions of crying in forums and actually not producing anything of value. You're going to be ahead of 96% of them if you just take out note cards and you write the best ideas and extract the best ideas while you're reading, or prose or vocab words or anything, and install them into a box without even organizing them and reviewing them regularly. That is going to put you ahead of almost everyone else out there in the Obsidian Bubble Graph Boy or the Cortex, AI second brain, Brolopreneur boy space. And that's really it. And you can do this and just sit and write and do things the old way, the best way, writing by hand, thinking, and actually producing output. And believe it or not, have a 10 times better revenue stream, lifestyle, than all of those digital solopreneur creators like Dan Coe and his posse of, quote unquote, pseudo enlightened Cortex bubble graph boys. That's it. That's the end of my sermon. I'm going to turn this camera around. Let's see if I can. I'm going to turn this camera around, do 0 production value, upload this to YouTube, and you know what? Set it and forget it. If you want to join me in the analog revolution, if you want to become an anti-netter, an analog knowledge revolutionary, then hey, you know what to do. Peace out, peace and love, and I'll see you in the next video.